I wanted to do a video about the top 5 proofs of a young universe and just demonstrate that the universe is not 13.7 billion years old like people have said.
Oh, looky here. It's Matt Powell. Official. Today we're going to look at Matt Powell, professional liar for Jesus. Matt's going to present his top 5 proofs for a recent creation. When I say proofs, they're actually a mixture of lies, misunderstandings and strawman. Let's give it a go. Go ahead then, Matt.
And the first reason that we know this is because of short period comets. Now, if you're not sure what those are, they are balls of ice that are floating about in space right now, and they deteriorate in less than 10,000 years.
Yes, short period comets do have a comparatively short lifespan. It's going to depend on the size of the object and its exact orbit. Your point being?
And so short period comets are all over our galaxy, all over the solar system, and they're going about in an orbit and they are deteriorating over time. And if our solar system was 4.5 billion years old, those things would not even exist. They would have completely deteriorated by now.
Well, there's a lack of understanding and a straw man all rolled into one, Matt. Well done. New comets are replenished all the time from both the Oort cloud and the Kuiper belt. The Kuiper belt has been observed. Its existence is confirmed, and it stretches from just beyond the orbit of Neptune to about 50 to 55 astronomical units out. It is vast. It only takes a disturbance amongst the objects out there to send one hurtling down towards the sun. Many will pass the sun and go back out again. Others get captured or their orbits deflected into a closer orbit and become short period comets.
The second proof is simply the planet Pluto. Pluto is warm on the inside. Now, if Pluto was from 4.5 billion years ago, when it finally was created back then, it would be freezing cold on the inside. There's no way that something could just stay that warm for that long, for the course of 4.5 billion years.
First thing you've got to remember, Matt, is planets, even small planets like Pluto, are big. That amount of mass takes a long time to cool down, and like the Earth, you develop a crust, whether it's ice or rock. That helps trap any heat that there is. Secondly, the heat within a planet is not necessarily just the heat from its initial creation. There are other causes of heat. For instance, tidal heating. When two large objects orbit each other, the tidal forces cause gravitational friction. It's orbital and rotational energy converted to heat. In Pluto's case, though, much of the heat is very likely to come from radioactive decay, and that heat is then trapped under ice that's possibly hundreds of kilometers thick.
If you came to my house and saw a hot cup of coffee on the table, you would never assume that that cup of coffee was 4.5 billion years old. I'm sorry, it would have cooled off over the course of just 10 minutes.
That's quite a straw man, isn't it, Matt? If you are seriously comparing a planet that's 1.309 times 10 to the 22 kilograms in mass with something the size of a cup of coffee, then you're as dumb as your reputation has already led us to believe.
But people have no problem believing that things happen to stay warm for 4.5 billion years. It takes a lot of faith.
Whereas believing in talking snakes is a rational position to hold, Matt?
The third reason is the planet Saturn. I mean, Saturn's rings are unstable. Saturn's rings are actually dispersing right now as we speak, and before long, those rings will be completely gone.
Yes, they are dispersing, and on the cosmological timescale, not long at all until they do. About 300 million years. I wonder if I've got time to go to the loo first.
If Saturn, the planet, and the rings around it were 4.5 billion years old, those rings would have completely dispersed and deteriorated by now.
Yes, they would have, Matt, which is probably why nobody is claiming that Saturn's rings are 4.5 billion years old. Estimates place them to be between 10 and 100 million years old, which doesn't quite fit in with your 10,000 year universe theory, does it?
But they're still there, which means that they were created recently, not billions of years ago.
Do you think Matt's dumb, a scammer, or just lying for Jesus?
I'm not too sure about that, but I do like furry little kittens.
I think I'll take that as probably all three.
The fourth reason is simply stars. Now, a star will die 1 per 25 years per galaxy.
Matt, you probably don't realise, but stars die in many different ways. Some do explode as supernovae. And in our galaxy, the Milky Way, it's estimated one will go nova roughly once every 50 years. Some will get eaten by black holes. Others, as they run out of fuel, just slowly cool into insignificance. It's calculated that over the observable universe, roughly one star dies every second. The problem is, most of them we can't observe. Your problem, Matt, is scale. You have no idea. You see, space is big, really big. You just won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is. I mean, you may think it's a long way down the road to the chemists, but that's just peanuts compared to space.
And so, if the galaxy was less than 10,000 years old, we would predict to only find about 200 dead stars in our galaxy. And sure enough, that's what we find. We find less than 200 dead stars in the galaxy. If you look at other galaxies, you'll only find about 200 dead stars in each galaxy.
So just how exactly do you think we're going to see dead stars in, say, the nearest galaxy, the Andromeda galaxy, at 2.2 million light years away?
If you look at other galaxies, you'll only find about 200 dead stars in each galaxy, which means that if evolution were true...
Bingo! That is why you've put out this video. You think that if you can disprove the age of the universe, then you have disproven biological evolution. Your problem is twofold, Matt. First, evolution is fact, and secondly, even if it wasn't, that has nothing to do with the evidence for the age of the universe.
That if evolution were true, and if the evolutionary timescale of billions of years was taking place, you would have hundreds of thousands of dead stars throughout the entire universe.
There are.
The fact that you find only 200 dead stars per galaxy literally proves beyond any shadow of doubt that the galaxies, and our galaxy in particular, the Milky Way, is a young galaxy.
No, Matt, it just shows that they're very difficult to see. We know how big our galaxy is, Matt, about 100,000 light years across, with us being about 30,000 light years from the edge, which means light from the far side has taken 70,000 light years to get to us. And here is galaxy GN-Z11. It's 13.4 billion light years away from us, so we know that the universe has to be at least 13.4 billion years old. And exactly how do you think you're going to see dead stars in that little blotch?
Gimboid.
Now the fifth and most powerful reason is actually the magnetic field of the Earth and other planets. See, magnetic fields are actually what keep our planets, and keep the Earth in particular, from being bombarded with space dust.
That's it, Matt. Open your mouth and show your stupidity. The Earth's magnetic field does not protect us from space dust. What harm is dust going to do anyway? No, it protects us from charged particles in the solar wind and ultraviolet radiation.
If the magnetic field was too strong, we would die. If it's too weak, we would die. It has to be just right in order to protect us from issues from outer space or sunlight, deadly radiation coming through.
So what is this, the Three Bears porridge theory?
The Earth's magnetic field in particular is very important, and it is vital to our survival.
Why? So God created this beautiful Earth just for us, and then he allowed it to be bombarded with harmful radiation, and then thought, oh, I better put a magnetic field in there to protect my creation.
The half-life of the Earth's magnetic field is actually 1,400 years.
Liar.
And so what that means is that every 1,400 years, the Earth's magnetic field gets chopped in half.
The magnetic field has lost about 9% of its strength over the last 200 years. But this is not a problem, it's a cycle. And every now and then, it flips north to south, as we can see with these magnetic traces left in the seabed. As the continental plates move apart along the mid-ocean ridges, lava oozes out, cools, and turns into rock. The polarity of the Earth is then in effect frozen into the rock, leaving us with a permanent record of the Earth's magnetic field over hundreds of thousands of years.
And so you can only lose so much before you've lost it all.
Well, as far as arguments go, me old China, I'd say that you already have lost the lot.
And if the magnetic field gets too weak, like I said, the sun's rays will penetrate the Earth's atmosphere and kill everything on the Earth.
The rays do penetrate the atmosphere. It's called sunlight.
With the half-life being only 1,400 years, you take that back, even 10,000 years. If you were to go beyond 10,000 years, the Earth's magnetic field would be so powerful that it would literally kill everything on Earth as well.
I notice you said take it back 10,000, take it back further than 10,000 years. Because if you did go back 10,000 years with that half-life that you're claiming, then the Earth's magnetic field would have been 128 times the strength it is today. You just debunked your own 10,000-year-old universe and your evidence of a half-life of the magnetic field. You absolute moron.
So, no matter how the evolutionists or atheists want to play this game of millions and billions of years,
the universe being millions and billions of years has nothing to do with being someone who accepts and understands evolution or someone who's an atheist. You're just a science-denying, know-nothing blowhard, Matt. You're desperately lying to your audience in an attempt to hide the facts. Facts that show that your religious belief is not supported by any evidence whatsoever.
it's not going to go their way. Because truly, the facts are on our side. Observation.
Well then, all those clever scientists making these observations and establishing these facts will now be young Earth creationists, won't they? Oh wait.
Is on our side. Everything that we see in the solar system actually demonstrates that the Earth and the universe and the galaxies, the entire world is young and was created recently and not billions of years ago.
Only it doesn't, does it, Matt? So, any final advice, Matt?
Make sure to hit the thumbs up and comment down below. Make sure to give us a good rating because
Mr. Sensible has just whooped your ass 5 times. I'd like to be clear here. I am atheist, but I have no problem with those who believe and find comfort in one religion or another. However, what I can't accept are people lying to defend their religion, people who are willfully misunderstanding the science, people who have a total lack of knowledge about the science and use this in order to deceive people. You provided 5 arguments, Matt, in support of your position. I will provide you with one evidence which absolutely obliterates your claim of the Earth being around 10,000 years old. This is an ice core. During the summer and winter, you get alternating dark and light layers. So if you count up the layers, you can count the years. Simple as that. With the Vostok ice core, we can count 55,000 years. You're busted. You better run along to your good Christian friend Mr. Kent Hovind, hadn't you? Perhaps he's got some ideas for other evidences you can use. Better be quick though. He was arrested for domestic violence and is due to report for his prison sentence October the 18th. Until next time, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.